Hi everybody, my name is Nadine Mukwena from Bonmas Consulting, and we are back for this week's edition of hashtag Ask an Accountant. And this week we'll be tackling how to register a company and then how to maintain your business once you've registered your company. So businesses that wish to transact with government and the formal sector or wish to access certain types of government support are generally required to register with the CIPC. For these businesses, there may also be tax benefits to registering your company with the CIPC, and as well as benefits for your company to receive a lower tax rate than it normally would if it were to transact in an individual capacity. So that is the importance of registering your company with the CIPC. So firstly, we want to delve into the types of companies that we get. So firstly, you get a private company. So that is the most common and simplest form of companies to be registered. It is comparable to a closed corporation, but closed corporations no longer are registered in our countries according to the new Companies Act. So private companies may not offer shares to the public, and they have restrictions on placing or transferring their shares that they have in their company. Private companies must have at least one director and one incorporator, and the director and the corporator, it may be the same person. The word person includes a juristic entity. This means that a legal entity or a trust may be incorporated by a new company. Most private companies are owner managed and tend to have a smaller number of directors. So this is the most common form of company registrations that we do in this day and age. Then the second type of company is a public company. So a public company is a company that offers its shares to the public, and it is not restricted to offer their shares to any member of the public they wish to offer it to. So public companies must have at least 3 directors. One public company, it must be listed as well on the Johannesburg Security Exchange. So that's the JSE. Public companies may be audited, and they must produce audited financial statements which are tabled with their shareholders annually. Depending on the size of the public company, the company may also be required to have an audit committee and a social and ethics committee. And then finally, we're looking at the third type of company is a non-profit company. And this is a type of company that is incorporated purely for the public benefit or other relating to one or other cultural or social activity. An example of this could be a church. So the income and the property of a non-profit company is not distributable to its incorporators, members, directors, officers, or persons relating to any item, and must be used to advance the purpose for which it was created as set out in its memorandum of incorporation. A non-profit company must have at least 3 incorporators and 3 directors, and they may be registered with or without members. A non-profit company is not required to have members when they initially register their company. The members of a non-profit company are persons who participate in the activities of the non-profit company. Example, if it is a church that you're registering, the members of that church would constitute as the members of the non-profit organization. So now we're going to take you through the process of registering a company. So us at Bonmas Consulting will be able to assist you to take you through the whole process. So firstly, you need to come up with 4 proposed names that you would like to have for your company, and the one that you prefer the most should be the first name, and so on, so forth and so forth. So we would then use these names to apply to the CIPC for your company, and the CIPC would then come back to us to approve the approved name that they would choose for your company. Then after this process happens, we would then be able to complete the process of registering your company, and this whole process would take from 7 to 10 days to register your company and to receive your company registration documents, your memorandum of incorporation, and your shareholder certificates. Then once this process is done, you will be able to use these documents to start running your company. So now that you have your business up and running and we've registered your company for you, what you would need to do is to take into consideration some of the things that are required for your business to run smoothly. So the first thing is that The CIPC requires all companies and closed corporations to lodge their annual returns with the CIPC electronic within a certain period of a year after you've registered your company. So it's a yearly return that you have to submit to the CIPC. An annual return is a statutory return in terms of the Companies and the Closed Corporations Act, and it's therefore must be complied with. Failure to do so will result in the CIPC assuming that your company is no longer in business or that you are no longer intending to do business in the near future. So non-compliance with annual returns may lead to the deregistration of your company, which has the effect that the juristic personality is withdrawn and the company or the closed corporation ceases to exist. So this is very important when you start your business and when you already have your company registration documents, is that every single year you need to ensure that your annual returns are submitted to the CIPC so that your company remains in good business with the CIPC. The next thing to take into consideration is that you are allowed to amend your director's details, so you can appoint new directors. Some directors can resign for whatever reason they choose to, or you can remove directors from your current company registration documents once you've registered your company through us, Bonmas Consulting. So the Memorandum of Incorporation determines the minimum number of directors and alternate directors, in which case of a private company it may not be less than one director. A customized Memorandum of Incorporation will also set out the eligibility requirements for a director as well as the director's term of office. In case of a standard Memorandum of Incorporation, the term of office is indefinite and there is no restriction on the number of directors that you may have in your private company. New directors may be elected by the board of directors when there's a vacancy or when the company wishes to add a director. So adding a director, appointing a new director, or removing a director is something that you are able to do through us at Bonmas Consulting by submitting your documents to us, and we'll be able to assist you with taking you through the process. So this is a process that is very simple to take through, and so a director, like I said, it may be removed, you may appoint a new director, or you may decide that a director would resign for whatever reason. So the documents that we'd require when you would amend your director's details is your actual company registration documents and then a company's resolution. So the resolution would state if you're removing a director that you'd like to remove one or appoint or whatever amendments you would like to create with your directors in your company. You would need that resolution we would need that resolution from you with your current company registration documents, and we would be able to amend your company registration documents for you. Now we'll be looking at deregistration and closing your company. A business can be referred for deregistration upon the request from the company or closed corporation or any other third party, provided that the company or the closed corporation has ceased to carry on business and has no assets, and or because of inadequacy of its assets, there is no reasonable profitability of the company or the closed corporation is being liquidated. Deregistration will be triggered when 2 or more successive annual returns are outstanding, in which case the company or the closed corporation will be automatically referred by the system, and then they will be notified by mail or alternatively electronic methods. So they'll be notified that their company is in the process of deregistration. So that's the importance of doing your annual returns with us here at Bonmas Consulting, because if you don't do it for 2 or more successive years, they automatically assume that you're no longer carrying business and they would then deregister your company. So companies and closed corporations are responsible to inform the Commission or the CIPC of the contact details that they would like to adjust, or they want to close or deregister your company for whatever reason you may have to. So we are able to assist you with this process, and this whole process would take up to 10 days to get your company closed or deregistered if you want to voluntarily do so. And then we are at Bonmas Consulting are able to assist you with company deregistration to ensure that your process is smooth I hope this information was valuable to you regarding company registrations and maintaining your business once you've registered it. So for more information on company registration and maintaining your business on a monthly and a yearly basis, you can contact us on the email address info@bonmasconsulting.co.za. So this was it for this week's edition of #AskAnAccountant. See you again next week.